Hi everyone, welcome back. In my last video, I shared with you 5 tips that you kind of need to be aware of if you're going to attempt double weave on your rigid Heddle loom. And as I've been weaving through my project this week, quite a few more, shall we call them issues, have come to the fore. One of the things that is most difficult about weaving double weave, whether it's on your rigid Heddle loom or whether it's on a table loom or a floor loom or any loom, is the management of your selvedges. Most specifically, the selvedges on the fold. What you need to be particularly careful of here is that you don't get excessive draw in. So if I bring my Heddle forward, you can see that I've actually got a certain amount of draw in on my selvage. Part of the reason for that draw in is that the weft is being forced to go around a corner and into a second layer of cloth. So it's not just our normal kind of single fold on the selvage that we're dealing with here. So our weft needs a little bit more space to go around that corner and into the other layer. So you need to bear that in mind. You need to constantly actually get your finger in there into the fold and just make sure that these threads, these warp ends that are sitting on the fold, are not like really pulling together and clumping together. Part of the reason that this is so difficult to control is that we only collect our selvage thread on every second pass. So if I take you through my weaving sequence, through all 4 picks of my weaving sequence, I'm starting by just clearing my shed on that bottom layer because I can't see what's happening underneath, so I need to make sure that my shuttle has a clean passage in order to avoid floats. And just by the way, floats are a reality on the bottom layer of your fabric. You will get the odd warp float or weft float where something has been in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's the subject for another video altogether. But there's my first pick of my sequence. My second pick is the first pick of the top layer. And here you can see that my yellow, my weft, is actually going to collect that selvage thread quite efficiently. But if we look at my previous pick, it hasn't collected the blue thread. And that's because when I bring my pickup stick forward for the second pick of my bottom layer, I will automatically now catch that blue selvage thread that I didn't catch the first time round. Just get that into the right position. So now my selvage, now my weft thread is going to come around my selvage, and that blue warp end on the selvage that wasn't caught the last time round is now going to be caught. As I put my shuttle through now for the final pick of the sequence, you will see that my yellow end is not going to be caught. But if you think back, when I wove the first pick of my top layer, which was when I had my pickup stick playing, then it would have got caught automatically. So just be aware that you only are going to collect your selvage thread every second pass. And you can see I've actually pulled that right in there, so I'm going to loosen everything up and just loosen up my selvage entirely. And you will And the possibility is that you will have to manipulate your selvedges quite a bit. So keep an eye on your selvedges, especially when it comes to dealing with the fold. It's important that you know what's going on there. Something else that I wanted to share with you, and I'm just going to move the camera forward a tiny bit so that you can see the back roller, is that you will have twists happening in your warp on the back roller. This is not because you've done a bad job. This is because when we wind our warp onto the roller for a double weave project, we are winding on 4 threads per slot. And that means that these threads are going to move around each other. So don't panic about the fact that you've got twists behind the roller. The best way to deal with them is to just take a pickup stick and just gently maneuver them backwards and out of the way. If you have a twist that is kind of particularly noxious, like let's look at this one over here, then you can just kind of gently separate it out by hand and everything will be fine. But don't panic about the fact that you actually have twists coming off the roller. They're not going to affect your weaving, and they can be quite effectively controlled just by gently pushing the pickup stick back into place, and they're not going to affect you at all. I'm Glynis from Weave at Brooklands. By now, many of you will know that the project that I have on my loom here is one of the projects for my upcoming course, which is going to be all about double weave. And when I say it's going to be all about double weave, this is all about double weave 1, because double weave on its own is a huge subject and there will be more to follow. But to begin with, on the 28th of August, my new course will be coming out, and it is totally concerned with double weave on our rigid Heddle looms. So keep an eye out for that. If you want more information, you can go along to my website. Maybe subscribe to my newsletter so that you make sure that you get all the information going forward. And keep an eye out for more tips and tricks on weaving double weave on your rigid Heddle loom. Until next time.